Dean Blandino, Fox NFL rules analyst and former vice president of officiating for the NFL. He was part of Fox's Super Bowl pregame show. He joins us on the program. Dean, thanks for getting up. If I gave you a grade, or you were going to give me a grade for the first 59 minutes of officiating and the last minute of the Super Bowl, would those grades be the same for the officials?
I think they would. I thought overall the game, they officiated a good game for the most part. I think the calls were right. But obviously when you have a call like that at the end of a game, that's going to be controversial. It felt like we were robbed of a classic finish, right? And I think that's what people are upset about is, throw the flag in that situation. We go from the Chiefs most likely kicking the go-ahead field goal, and then Jalen Hurts and the Eagles getting the ball back. Instead, we got 2 kneel downs, running out the clock, a field goal. And I think that's part of the debate today is, do you throw the flag in that situation?
Would you?
To me, it's hard to sit there and watch James Bradberry grab the jersey and say that's not a foul. I mean, there's no way I can sit here and say it's not a foul for holding. And if it's a foul in the first quarter, it has to be a foul in the fourth quarter. You want to be consistent. You don't want your officials to be officiating the situation. They have to compartmentalize and say, okay, I'm going to officiate this play, and if there's a foul, I have to call it. But again, I think we all felt, myself included as a fan, I'm wondering if he doesn't throw the flag in that situation, are we even talking about that play? It's probably not, but when you watch the replay and you see the jersey grab, that by rule is a foul.
Players just want consistency. Yeah. And there were no holding calls prior to that, the first 59 minutes. And then all of a sudden you have one there. If it's true you can call holding on every call, then how do you arbitrate that? How do you go, no, that's sort of no, I'm not going to call that. Explain that to me.
That's the biggest challenge. There was a play early, it might have been Kansas City's first or second drive on third down where it looked like the Eagles got away with a hold, a pass interference. And I'm sure you could go back and see similar actions throughout the game. And I'm sure that's what people are doing right now. Biggest challenge in officiating, it's that consistency piece that if you're going to let it go the whole game, you can't throw the flag in a critical situation. You want to be officiating the same standard the entire game. Now, I haven't gone through the entire coaching tape and looked at every play yet. And if there were a bunch of holds that were missed, then why are we calling that one at the end and not calling those others? Because that's what we all want, consistency.
Explain to me having all-star crews as opposed to honoring just a great crew during the regular season.
Yeah, this has been a debate, and we've gone back and forth. My time at the officiating department, my colleague at Fox Sports, Mike Pereira, and the crew. I like the cohesion of the crew. I like the crew working together. The communication is better. If you and I work together all year, we're going to know what each other's thinking, and we're not going to have to kind of learn. The learning curve is not as steep. But there's something to be said for having your best officials in your toughest and most important games. I still think there's a balance. I think you need that crew continuity. I think whenever you can keep the crews intact, there's a grading system, an evaluation system. They're put into tiers. This is something that's negotiated with the NFL Referees Association. They want the individual-based system in the postseason, and that was negotiated in the CBA. So the league is their hands are tied on this, but again, you do have some flexibility in taking your top-rated officials, but keeping the crews together whenever possible.
Is there anybody that gets together with the officials prior to the playoffs or prior to a Super Bowl and say, let's not make the game about us, let's fewer calls? Is that message sent?
Well, I wouldn't say the message of fewer calls is sent, but I think that the general philosophy, as long as I've been involved, and I know it predates me, is that officiating is not to be the story, right? We don't want to interject ourselves into the game. We don't want to be overly technical, but you have to throw flags when they're there. And there's this misconception of we're going to let the players decide the game. And people tend to think, okay, that means don't throw flags. But if you don't throw flags, then inevitably teams pick up on that. They're going to get aggressive, especially in the secondary with defensive holding and things like that, and they're going to gain an unfair advantage. I mean that's why we have speeding tickets on highways, and if there was no fear of getting a speeding ticket, we'd all be driving. Maybe I'm speaking for myself. I know I'd be driving 100 miles an hour, but it's just one of those things that you never want the officiating to be the story, but never in my time has anyone said, hey, we're not going to throw flags today. We're going to let them play, because you allow a team to gain an advantage when you do that, when you go into a game like that.
Have you ever gone to a Super Bowl party with a group of people and they find out what you used to do?
Yes.
How annoying.
Any party really.
How annoying is that?
I love talking about football, but especially now when we've gone through, I can't think how many weeks and months. Like I'm on the plane ride home. If somebody, hey, what do you do? I'm an accountant, and I'm something that has nothing to do with football.
Dean, thanks for getting up with us. We appreciate your explanations there.
You got it, Dan.
That's Dean Blandino, Fox NFL rules analyst. He was part of Fox's Super Bowl pregame show.